My name's Amelia Osgood. I'm a senior at Chattahoochee High School, and this past semester I shadowed at Coca-Cola headquarters for Mrs. Karen Davis, who works in human resources, specifically National Food Service and on-premise. So I was really interested in this shadowing position, mainly because I want to study international business or economics in college. I was also really interested in Coca-Cola itself just because it's such a huge worldwide corporation and the headquarters are in Atlanta, so I thought that it was really. So to begin the shadowing position, I met Mrs. Davis in her office and she gave me a background of how she got to work at Human Resources at Coca-Cola. She went to school at Cornell and she studied social sciences to begin with. So I sat in for several meetings during my shadowing time, and the first one was with Camille. The meeting was really surprising, mainly because of its informality. It seemed almost like a conversation. They talked about compensation base pay and projects for the year. Next was the meeting with Lisa, which was also pretty informal and almost like a conversation. They discussed compensation base pay and a project that they had planned for the year that included games and a picnic for the employees. The last meeting that I sat in on was a conference call, three-way conference call, and they discussed employment, of course, because this is human resources, and high potential employees versus promotable employees. They also discussed IT modernization and innovation for Coca. I was also really happy to learn about how multifaceted the business world is. There's different sectors like innovation, marketing, finance, people, and it shows that you can pursue your strengths in any area of that business. Shadowing Mrs. Davis gave me a behind the scenes of how the business world works. And I now feel even more confident in pursuing a business major. Also, I would love to pursue more future internships.
For my shadowing project, I shadowed Dr. Vidya Krishnamurthy. Dr. V runs her own clinic called Pediatrics and Genetics. Dr. Vidya has over 12 years' experience as a pediatrician practicing in Malaysia. For the first day of my shadowing, I learned many things. Every day, Dr. V starts off with a review in office of her patients. Then she sees multiple patients, and in between each patient, she usually does billing, or she just goes on to the next patient. Some see Dr. V for pediatrics, and others do for genetics. Dr. V is unique in that she does genetics and pediatrics. There was many interesting patients that I learned about, including alopecia and anemic patients. Well-checked patients are patients who come in for a regular checkup to see if their children are doing well or not. This is also included in pediatrics. Dr. Vidya herself speaks Tamil, so that's helpful for her Tamil patients. I observed while doing my shadowing that Dr. Vidya has many tasks every day. She not only has to help her patients, but she also has to dedicate tasks for her nurses so that they can also do their jobs. Things that I learned from Dr. V was that billing is important. You always need to do it on time and do it correctly, otherwise the practice can lose money. Insurance companies do not always cover genetic testing. Something else that I learned was that Dr. V studied in India and worked in Malaysia, and then came to the US. She also told me that after seeing a patient, we need to document all symptoms for later use. So finally, the question comes, will I pursue this career in the future? I realize that being a doctor is a lot of work, but that also comes with any other occupation. I like to see that Dr. V not only helps her patients, but also works well with others, and that seems like something I'd be interested in. I'm really not sure if being a doctor is in my future, but I did like that she ran her own business, and that was something that I'd definitely be interested in pursuing.
Alright, so this allows us the same kind of ultrasound you use when you have babies, but you can actually look at, we use it after babies, although I delivered in family medicine about 40 babies. Yeah, so you actually can do a picture like this right now. And so I'll just do this and I'll show you a couple of things.
So cool.
Yeah, so this is your rotator cuff actually, and actually it is really cool because you can take this and Sarah will know this anatomy, but this is your, we can rotate this as your humeral head. See that? That's your biceps.
Oh, that's so cool.
And then this is the subscapularis. So you can see the muscle right there. If you push against me right here, you see it contract. See that contract there?
That's so neat.
Yeah. You see this is your joint. It's your ball and socket joint. And you can see me rotate.
Whoa.
You can see me kind of working it. So we do injections. We stick a needle in there and we watch it go all the way in. If you don't pass out, it's kind of cool. And so we'll also do a short axis here, hold it like this, and then take her arm, okay? And let's get it here. And then now just externally rotate it this way. See it's beating? That's an artery, okay? So we try not to put needles in those if we don't have to. So that's why we use ultrasound, so we can see it. If we did an injection, we can kind of avoid those things. And so the vein is compressible. You can see this vein right here. If I push it, it goes away. If I relax it, you can see it right there. So you can scan your wrist for a second if you want.
This is surgery.
Okay.
We do our big open surgeries in here. Anything has to stay really sterile. It's difficult with animals because not everything's sterile because they're covered with fur and, you know. So there are body parts that are not very sterile, so we do those out here. Oxygen chamber, when they're oxygen dependent or having trouble breathing, we put them in here and control their oxygen. Sometimes they stay in it, you know, for hours. Sometimes they're in it just for a little while until they get past their crisis. Ooh. Why are we here?
Vomiting.
Uh-oh.
It's fine because
I could not do that Friday night.
Oh,
They're on their way to visit.
I'm so surprised.
Because they visited yesterday. Good boy. They're good boy.